Now, one question that I want to answer that actually hasn't been raised, much to my surprise, but I want to address is this. Can anyone choose to continue their relationship, or is this something that's destined? Okay. This is important because if something is truly destined for you, it's as if you can't prevent it from happening. It's like the universe conspires to set this up one way or the other. When it comes to spirit communication and continuing our relationships across the veil, I believe that it's for the most part is up to us. It's not a destiny thing. And that said, I think there is a certain destiny component, okay, that has to do with that you'll be presented with the idea, right? You'll learn about someone like me who teaches people how to connect to the spirit world, to continue their relationships, or to just find healing in the process, or both, okay? So you'll find someone like me or some book or what have you. And that is how it works, how your higher self orchestrates your life. Your soul is really orchestrating everything. Okay, so that's true, but it still comes down to you because the journey of this is meant to bring up whatever conflicting beliefs you have about it, your insecurities, any issues you have, because this is a path of spiritual awakening. It's not just about reuniting with your loved ones, although that is, of course, an important part of it for many of us. This is a journey of you becoming your true, authentic self, right? Because your loved ones, that's what they've done. Their frequency is now higher than yours just by virtue of them crossing over. They drop their negative ego, so they have no fears, no insecurities, no limitations, right? No, again, no limiting beliefs. But what about you? What limiting beliefs do you have? Do you love yourself unconditionally? Most people do not. They might say, "Oh, I feel good about myself," or "Yeah, I love myself." But when it really comes down to it, they are still hurt by other people's comments and opinions, which I understand, it's very normal, but that would mean they don't love themselves unconditionally. Because someone who truly, truly knows they're worthy and loves themselves completely, fully, unconditionally could be immune to the opinions and criticisms of others. That's just how it is. It would be like it would just bounce off their shoulders like what did you say? If somebody was mean to them, they would just kind of laugh inside or maybe even outside and just think to themselves, what's wrong with this person? Like, why are they, what's, are they in a bad mood? What happened? They don't take it personally. So if you take things personally and you believe the mean comments of other people because you believe it because you agree with the opinion or you wouldn't be hurt by it, then you don't love yourself unconditionally. That's one reason why I'm teaching a workshop called I Am Love, because people really need to understand who they are as a being is someone who is, by definition, because you exist, you're a part of creation, so you're worthy and you are made of unconditional love. So, so ask yourself that, if you feel drawn to this and you're willing to do the work, and only you can answer that question. Like you're willing to examine the limiting beliefs that come up and break through them. You're open-minded enough to persevere and you don't get distracted by YouTube videos galore about the afterlife and spirits and mediums and all that, because I will tell you, after being in the business for 39 years now, much of it is just garbage. And even some of it that's being spread by famous mediums isn't all accurate either. So you're just going to get more confused and more put off and come to the realization mistakenly that I can't do this. This is too hard. Like I just don't know what to believe anymore. Okay. Trust your own inner guidance. If something doesn't resonate, doesn't feel true to you, it isn't true for you. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate, turn me off right now. Like, change the channel. I want you to, because I only want to work with people who are in resonance with me, because then I know they'll be successful. This is not for everyone. Right now, very, very, very few people are ready to continue their relationships across the veil. This will change in a huge way within the next few years and certainly within the next decade, okay? Because it will become more commonplace. It will become almost an everyday thing. Right now, this is very much on the frontier, okay? And I will tell you from experience, it's a bit lonely sometimes on the frontier, although I do have a growing number of people meeting me out here on the frontier. And if that's you, I welcome you to join me in my community, Be Your Own Medium. Link below, you'll find it there. But just know that this is not for everyone. And that's perfect. It's not the time for the masses to accept the idea that we never die and love is eternal and you can continue a relationship with someone who's crossed over. In fact, it can be the most extraordinary relationship you've ever had, even when they were in a body, right? But you need to also understand you're going to be put through your paces to evolve, because here's something that I have I don't think I've ever talked about here on my channel. Just because you have extraordinary contact with someone you love who's in spirit, and I mean you see them, hear them, feel them, etc., like everything you could possibly want, except they're not in a body, but you have so much contact, that isn't necessarily by itself going to make you happy or fulfilled. Now, if you're grieving right now, listening to me, you're probably like astonished, like, what? Like, I would give anything for that. Are you kidding me? That would just heal my heart and I'd be so happy. Yes, you would be happy in the moment. I understand totally. You, of course, would be blown away and you'd think this most spectacular thing and you'd be on a high maybe for days. Who knows, right? But inevitably, you're going to have to come back to yourself. And if you have limiting beliefs, insecurities, fears, any issues that you haven't dealt with, if you don't love yourself unconditionally, you feel unworthy, whatever, right? It's not going to be enough. You still are living in your body, in your ego, with your physical mind and your issues, right? So you cannot fully enjoy that relationship to the extent that is possible unless you've also worked on raising your frequency and clearing those issues. And this is why I created my program to begin with. If it was as simple as just teaching you to be psychic, which I've done for decades, when I worked with clients in the past, because I've been doing this work and teaching for 30 plus years, that's not enough. It's not enough to be profoundly psychic and hear them and see them and feel them and even experience their touch, okay, their energy or their presence. That's not enough, not in this time of awakening. When you're raising your frequency and if you're going to keep up with them, you're going to have to shift. You're going to have to let go of your issues, right? So if you need to be prepared for that, you need to be prepared to do the work. I wish you luck if you go out there and take a bunch of psychic development classes and mediumship classes. They'll only take you so far. You have to figure out, how am I going to evolve myself spiritually? You need a spiritual path, a spiritual program, if you will, not a psychic development one. If you work on your spiritual evolution, the psychic gifts, they just open up without trying. This is another reason why I formed a second school community called Reiki Ascension Healing, where I'm teaching people to be Reiki healers, but also working on people and healing them to raise their frequency, right? To help them clear those limiting beliefs. Because what I've noticed is people try to like change their beliefs. All they're affirming is that there's someone who keeps trying to work on changing their beliefs. Well, I'm working on you on your operating system, if you will, in my Reiki Ascension group. The link is also down here below, right? And really just clearing your hard drive of limiting beliefs. It takes time, but I am committed to doing healings in that community, some teaching, but a lot of it is just working with everyone, healing, right? Healing and clearing and just doing energy work. So join me there if you are stuck in your spiritual growth. Both programs work together. They're really complementary, but you can, of course, belong separately to either one. Okay, but they work best together because I can't just do healing in my Be Your Own Medium community, and I'm not going to do spirit communication instruction in my Reiki community. Okay. Also, if you feel called to be a healer, I will tell you right now that will never be replaced by AI. Never, never. And the world is going to be in greater need of healers by the end of this year. And next year is just going to go off the roof, okay? Because people are going to be hit with so much change that's coming. I'll talk about it in another video, but it's about this being the age of disclosure, 2026, where secrets are coming to the surface. You already know that. You already see what's happening in the US government with the files that are being released. I'm not going to go into politics here. I'm rather apolitical, but let's just say what that entails is that there's more secrets that not only the government, well, the government mainly have been hiding, but even secrets of other kinds, right? That's going to come to the surface. Secrets about really our origins as a species. And people are going to start questioning what reality really is because it's not what they were taught in school. So this is a powerful time to reach out across the veil, in my opinion, because a lot of those beliefs are going to start getting shattered. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to therefore make progress because as other people start going, what? What is real? And that starts loosening, the collective consciousness starts like fragmenting around the ideas of the nature of reality, that physical is all there is. That's going to fall away, right? So as that happens, it just becomes easier and easier for folks like you and me who want to connect to the spirit world to do so. You want to make the most of this opportunity. That's my opinion, okay? You do what you want to do, but this is what I suggest you do. Like ride the wave of this awakening or the wave of disclosure, okay? And buckle your seatbelts. And if you feel like you're here to serve as a healer, you'll know it. You'll feel it in your heart. You might question it, like whether you can do it. But I am prepared to teach Reiki masters, not just how to do Reiki, okay, because that's easy. I've taught that for years. I've taught 105 Reiki masters since 2015. That's not hard to do. What I want to do in my Reiki program, in my Reiki Ascension healing group, is take my Reiki masters through their own transformation so that they not only can practice Reiki, but they as human beings become the highest evolved version of themselves that they can be. Now, that's an always growing, evolving thing. But I certainly, in a year's time, which is the period of the mentorship that you will have with me, I will do everything in my power to help you evolve and clear most, if not all, of your limiting beliefs so that at the end of it, you can be the master healer that you were born to be, using Reiki as your foundation, but of course, using whatever other modalities you happen to pick up along the way or already know. But what I do promise you is that Reiki itself, learning it, practicing it, can be something that completely transforms and heals your life, your body, and your mind, and awakens your soul, right? So I invite you to join me in that if you feel called to that. On our channel here, you're going to hear me talking a little bit more about healing, but still with the idea of, for spirit connection. And of course, Reiki, you're working with spirit. You're working with the powerful Reiki guides that govern all of Reiki. So it very much is aligned with the message of our channel that we are connected with the spirit world and we have relationships that we can continue and we can work with the spirit beings that we've connected with in this life and in all our other lives eternally. So I welcome you to join me. See you next time.